One.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Eddie Cantu, board member with the Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1. On March 16, 2020, Governor Greg Abbott granted a request by Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton to temporarily suspend certain open meeting law requirements to the extent necessary to allow telephonic and video conference meetings in response to COVID-19. In accordance with the law, notice of this meeting of the Board of Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1 has been posted online for at least 72 hours. Although members of the board are not gathered in a central physical location, we do have a quorum in attendance at this meeting by video conference or telephone call. The board is meeting by the use of Zoom software and telephone transmission, which allows two-way communication for members of the public during public comments. This meeting is being broadcast live online. As we would in any in-person meeting, members of the public who have followed the instructions on the meeting notice for registering to speak during the public comment portion will be called at the telephone number they have provided to speak for up to the allotted time. All other meeting procedures will adhere to board-adopted procedures to the extent possible. A recording of this meeting is being made and will be available to the public at a later date. We apologize in advance for any unforeseeable difficulties and ask for your patience as we navigate these conditions. The time now is 9:48 a.m. and I call this meeting to order. We will begin with a roll call establishing quorum.
David Fuentes, Precinct 1.
Eddie Cantu, Precinct 2.
Joe Flores, Precinct 3.
Eli Torres, Precinct 4.
We have a quorum. If we could start with a prayer. Mr. Sistine, Mr. Salazar.
Morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
Lord, we thank you for another beautiful day. I ask that you keep all our county and district families safe during these times. I ask that you grant hope, health, and healing to all in need. I ask that you please bless this board, Lord, as they work together to make the best decisions for our county and our district. May we each recognize every opportunity to pass your blessings on to others every day. All this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Jaime.
Yes, sir.
Do we have anybody signed up for open forum?
No, sir.
Mr. Sistine?
Yes, sir. Approve consent agenda, Commish. Just normal bill paying and some ratification change orders. But everything's been ordered and vetted by my engineering and accounting team. So we recommend approval.
For approval.
Second.
Good.
All in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes.
Thank you, sir. Item 5A, discussion possible action to submit intent to apply form and complete application for infrastructure fund 2020 phase 1 flood control project, a bridge application number 13689 to the Texas Water Development Board and authorize general manager to execute all documents related to said open application. So we got word this past week with the Water Development Board regarding our application that we submitted. We submitted a total of 32 million. It was $32,670,000, and that we got word for the request for the intent to apply and the full application to be eligible for 9.8 million of grant and 22.8 million of zero interest loan for the projects that we submitted. So we were asking for this action. I'd like to turn it over to Commissioner Fuentes so he could elaborate on this as well.
This is a great notification. You know, we've been advocating for drainage district dollars for flood mitigation projects. The fact that we got this listed as one of the priority projects, I think it was listed in the top 3 in the entire state of Texas. So it's been recognized, not just locally, but statewide as far as the benefit that it'll bring to our area. It frees up some money in the grant portion to potentially do another project or maybe 2 projects, depending on what we decide to do with it. The zero interest part of the loan is going to save us millions of dollars over the life of the loan, as opposed to placing it in a 3% bond market. So overall, this is a tremendous success. We have a lot of people to thank. Obviously, our state legislative representatives from all our state reps to our senators. Obviously, Commissioner Torres was part of the advocacy when we went up and did the testifying before the different committees and the Water Development Board, and obviously to Mr. Sistine and his staff for all of the guidance that they provided along the way. This was genuinely a team effort, and I'm very thankful that you as a commissioner's court allowed for us to represent you in this entire process. It's rewarding to get to this stage. By no means is this the end. We anticipate that we're going to continue moving forward with other funding programs to help us continue to make improvements along the way. There's a lot of need. This hurricane, again, was the third year in a row that we've had to endure some sort of catastrophic disaster, resulting from rainfall and flooding. So this is just a start, but it's a great start. And it's a great day. For us to almost receive $10 million in grant is an amazing accomplishment. So thank you to everybody, Commissioner Torres, Raul, the entire staff, everybody from my team that helped out, and again to Commissioner's Court for allowing me to do this. Very, very thankful.
Commissioner Torres?
I just want to reiterate what David just said, and we're excited and we're ready to move forward and impact our community in a positive way with this money. Thank you.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Congratulations to all, and especially to the taxpayers. We have a motion as a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Great job.
Thank you very much. Item 5B, requesting approval of the continuation of the super extended maintenance agreement with Syntec System Inc. for the fuel management system, hardware, and software for a period of 12 months, including automatic annual renewals for as long as the district owns and operates the system through the district's membership with Biboard contract number 590-19, procurement CA-1 20620922.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you. Item C, requesting approval to accept bids and approval to execute requirement agreement to the lowest and best bidder meeting all specified requirements for RFP number ACDD1 20-050-0902, concrete mixing related items subject to legal review and compliance, House Bill 1295.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries.
Thank you. Item 6A1, approval to issue application payment number 1 in the amount of $196,467.30 from Morwell LLC pertaining to construction contract of ACD1 20-026-0623, 3D lateral phase 1.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Item B, requesting acceptance and approval of work quotation number 3 for the provisions of construction material testing for Sunflower Drain 2018 bond referendum 20 project 36 in the amount of $34,385.18 through award contract number CATD1 20-019-0310, Robert Kistner Inc. for Hidalgo County Drainage 1 on-call professional construction material testing services, subject to legal review.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item C, requesting approval of supplemental agreement number 1 to the Archaeological Surveying Services Contract CATD1 20-028-0804, Robert Kistner Inc. for Archaeological Surveying Services 2018 bond referendum projects to reflect the revised fee schedule to include the following 2 additional bond project sites: Mile 10 North and Baseline Road 2018 bond referendum project number 20 for a fee of $12,642, and number 2 South Lateral Drain 2018 bond referendum project number 34, $11,594, subject to review and compliance, House Bill 1295. We recommend approval.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 7A, requesting approval to enter into 60-month lease agreement with Dell Financial Service LLC through the district's membership participation with the Texas Select Department of Information Resources, contract with Dell Marketing LP, contract number DRTSO 3763 for the lease and technical support of one Dell EMC SCY 3020 storage system network components and accessories in the amount of $1,269.21 per month, subject to compliance, House Bill 1295, procurement reference number CATD1 20-052-0922.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 8A, requesting approval of closing document parcel 18E2 as it relates to project 18 of the 2018 bond drainage program, Malone Drive, Humble Road project, and authority to determine the board execute documents, final review.
Shut the
Final
doors.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
We do have a couple items, small items in executive session.
So we can have a motion to go into executive session under 551 of the Texas Government Code. I'd appreciate it.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Go into executive session now at 9:59. We're back from executive session now at 10:09. Mr.
Thank you,
Sassin.
Commissioner. Yes, sir. For item 10A, possible action on real estate acquisition, we would ask the board take action as discussed in executive session on item 10A.
Can I get a motion?
No problem. So move.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
No action on 10B, and that would be it, sir.
Thank you. It's we get a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
All in
Thank you.
favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Good day.
Go on to Commissioner's Court. Thank you, Ivan. Good morning. I'm Eddie Cantu, Commissioner for Hidalgo County. On March 16, 2020, Governor Greg Abbott granted a request by Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton to temporarily suspend certain open meeting law requirements to the extent necessary to allow telephonic and video conference meetings in response to COVID-19. In accordance with the law, notice of the meeting of the Board of Hidalgo County Commissioners Court has been posted online for at least 72 hours. Although members of the commission are not gathered in a central physical location, we do have a quorum in attendance at this meeting by video conference or telephone call. The board is meeting by the use of Zoom software and telephone transmission, which allows two-way communication for members of the public during public comments. This meeting is being broadcast live online. As we would at any in-person meeting, members of the public who have followed the instructions on the meeting notice for registering to speak during the public comment portion will be called at the telephone number they have provided to speak for up to the allotted time. All other meeting procedures will adhere to board adopted procedures to the extent possible. A recording of this meeting is being made and will be available to the public at a later date. We apologize in advance for any unforeseeable difficulties and ask for your patience as we navigate these conditions. The time is now 10:12 a.m. And we'll start with establishing a quorum. Roll call.
David Fuentes, Precinct 1.
Eddie Cantu, Precinct 2.
Joe Flores, Precinct 3.
Ellie Torres, Precinct 4?
We have a quorum. If we can move on to the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
United States of America. And to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we can continue standing for prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for this glorious day. We ask that you watch over us and those who are asking for your prayers. Please help heal those who are mourning their loved ones lost to this disease. Please continue standing by our community leaders, educators, healthcare professionals, and all the businesses who work day in and day out during this pandemic. For the sick and infected, we ask that you heal and help them. For our vulnerable population, we ask that you protect them. For those in financial hardship, we ask that you help provide. We also ask that you place the necessary tools to help fight this disease into our hands and help guide us as best we protect all of our county citizens by making the best decisions possible. Please continue to protect us and inspire us. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
We have the approval of the consent agenda.
Judge, Commissioners, with your permission, I'd like to pull from consent agenda item, my apologies, 9A and 8A 1 and 2 and 9A.
Move to approve without those items.
Second.
Say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Judge, Commissioners, with respect to consent agenda item 8A 1 and 2, for the record, Commissioner Fuentes will abstain from any discussion and or action. Again, consent agenda item 8A 1 and 2.
Motion to approve 8A 1 and 2.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries with an abstention from Commissioner Fuentes.
And consent agenda item 9A for purchasing department. I'm asking that it be approved, subject to the agreement being attached and sent to the appropriate departments,
Motion to approve.
as well as legal counsel's initials on it after review.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you, Judge, or Commissioner.
Next item. Do we have anybody signed up for open forum?
Mr. Gutierrez, do we have anybody?
Yes, sir. Fern McClarity.
Okay.
She's in person.
Morning, Ms.
Good
McClarty.
morning.
There is a 3-minute time limit. I will advise when there is 1 minute, and I will start when you start, ma'am.
Commissioners, as usual, I am disappointed in the action of this court. Maybe it is because I believe that elected officials should work for the benefit of all the people and not just a few at the top. This county is fully engaged in spending the COVID-19 money, and little or no attention is being paid to the fact that the people are going to pay for these expenditures. To the families paying the bill, it doesn't matter if the tax is federal or local. All that matters is that the bill must be paid, and the actions of this court are making their lives more difficult. According to the Texas Department of State of Health Services, both daily new cases and deaths have significantly reduced, and yet this county keeps hiring more people and buying more equipment and more properties out there that are being taken off the tax rolls. What you are doing is supplementing your precinct budget by charging it to the fight against COVID-19. But what happens to all the people who you've hired when a vaccine is approved next month or so, and the border is closed so that more sick people cannot find their way to the local hospitals? There is no question of the impact of the county's orders to shelter in place, what it has done to us. For those of us who understand your action, it is difficult to believe that this court intentionally works against the best interest of the people. Your decision publicizing the sale of foreclosed property is the final nail in the coffin for working against the people. And instead of using the money to find different ways of helping the families and keeping their homes, it is our understanding that the commission has approved a change order in the construction of the courthouse. There is no bigger rule in construction projects that say do not approve change orders, especially when 40% of the population lives on an income that is below the poverty level. And also I have questions. I don't know if you'll answer them. They are on the agenda. 10B
1 minute.
is the health department has ordered to create a new position. Also 10C, he's ordered to create 2 more positions. 10D, you've lowered a person from a supervisor down. Did their salary go down? The people would like to know. 12A, could you explain this one? 19A1, we're leasing a tower from La Jolla for 9 years for almost $500,000. Precinct 4, a new mechanic shop. Would like to know how much that is. And the last is 19E1. The DA's office wants 3 new vehicles at $100,305. That's almost $34,000 each. I know there's a brand new van that sits out here in the parking lot. We'd just like to know at this time when everyone is hurting, our property values are going up, and you're thinking about raising the tax rate, people are buying new vehicles. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Gutierrez, do we have any more participants for open forum?
No, sir, that was it.
Thank you. Commissioner Cantu.
County Judge's Office, proclamation for Adult Education and Family Literacy Week. Is that you, Miss?
Yes. Good morning, Commissioners. Agenda item 77435. Am I okay to read it?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. Whereas National Adult Education and Family Literacy Week raises public awareness about the need for and value of adult education and family literacy. And whereas its goal is to leverage resources that support access to basic education programs for the 36 million US adults with low literacy skills. And whereas advocates across the country use the opportunity to elevate adult education and family literacy nationwide with policymakers, the media, and the community. And whereas for the year 2020, National Adult Education and Family Literacy Week will be observed from September 20th to September 26th. And whereas Hidalgo County has an e-library system, HCLS, that is offered to all residents as an online collection of books, audiobooks, and magazines for free, 24/7 on their phone or device of choice. Whereas Hidalgo County e-library system is a major initiative that promotes literacy and demonstrates a commitment to providing literacy opportunities to Hidalgo County residents of all ages and abilities, giving them the opportunity to download and read books anywhere they can access the internet. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court hereby proclaims September 20 to September 26 as Adult Education and Family Literacy Week and encourages residents to observe with fun activities that focus on creating awareness in communities for not only census education, but access to public benefits such as the Hidalgo County e-library system that is available for free to adults, their families, and their communities. Approved this 22nd day of September 2020.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you, Misty.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Commissioners. Joining us is Miss Kate Huron. She's actually with the Hidalgo County Library System. She's the board president, and she's also representing City of Mcallen Library. So she's just here with us today to share some statistics.
Good morning, Commissioners, and thank you so much for that proclamation. It means so much to us in our efforts, our ongoing efforts to provide literacy activities and materials to our public and our community. I just want to speak for a moment about the ability to check out digital materials made a very positive difference in the lives of the people who were ordered to shelter in place or who wanted to minimize their outbound activities. We have over 5,000 registered users for our digital library, our e-library, and I saw that we have a 65% increase in usage since 2019. So it is well used. Fiction, nonfiction, materials for children and teens. We have something for everyone. Thank you so much for your support.
Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Well then. We now have the District Attorney's Office.
Ms. Rosie.
Good morning, Commissioners. Rosalinda Cantu, presenting for the District Attorney's Office. Item 7A, DA Victim Coordinator and Liaison Grant, Fund 1281, and the Criminal DA Fund 1100. Number one, we're asking for approval to accept the fiscal year 2020 Victim Coordinator and Liaison Grant award in the amount of $42,000 effective September 1st, 2020 through August 31st, 2021, with authority for county judge as authorized official to electronically sign via DocuSign the grant contract. We're also asking for number 2, approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor for fiscal year 2021 BCLG in the amount of $42,000 and also appropriation of the same. We're also asking for approval under number 3 to reclassify fringe benefit expenditures to the Criminal District Attorney General Fund account.
Move to approve 7A, 1, 2, and 3.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 7B, AFDC Food Stamp Fund 1100. We're asking for approval of local prosecuting agreement contract 529-11-0064-00103 between the Hidalgo County District Attorney's Office and the Texas Health and Human Services Commission. Under number 1 and number 2, we're also asking for approval for Criminal District Attorney Ricardo Rodriguez Jr. to sign contract.
Approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries.
May I proceed to HIDA Task Force?
Yes, ma'am. Please do.
Item 8A, number 1, we're asking for authorization and approval to accept award G20SS00028, supplement number 1, cooperative agreement between Hidalgo County and the Executive Office of the President, Office of National Drug Control Policy in the amount of $107,300 for the grant period of January 1st, 2020 through December 31st, 2021. We're also asking for authorization for county judge as authorized official to sign grant award form and related documents, as well as authorization to pay overtime reimbursable under the grant terms and conditions, and also approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor in the amount of $107,300 and appropriation of the same.
Move to approve A, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank
Rosie.
you. Thank you.
Next up, Sheriff's Office.
Morning. Authorization and approval to purchase the state Texas Federal Surplus Program, the Texas Local Government Code. 2 engines in the amount of $275. The requisition 00421-293.
Go ahead and read the second one.
Authorization for the purchase department to issue a purchase order and the county treasurer to issue out a check payable to the Texas Facilities Commission after review, audit, and processing procedures have been completed by the county auditor.
Move for approval on 9A and B, the 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2. Sorry.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Cotto. Human Resources. Erica. Is Erica on?
Mr. Silguero? Commissioner, if I may, for HR, the first 3 action items are 10A, 1, 2, and 3 is requesting waiver of the following if applicable for personal items listed. It would be our Civil Service Commission Rules, Section 3.22, Hidalgo County Personnel Policy Manual, Section 6.27, and Budget Amendment Policy, Personal Related Amendments.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye on A, 1, 2, 3.
Aye.
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 Motion passes.
Mr. Silguero, the court just acted on the waiver for 10A, 1, 2, and 3. So if you could please continue on with 10B.
Yes. Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. Item 10B for the Health Department, Public Health Emergency Preparedness Grant. This is a grant funded 100%, and it's to create slot number 0023, Public Health Specialist 1 at a grade 9. They're asking approval for that action. We recommend approval.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Carries.
Item 10C, also for the Health Department, this is a COVID-19 grant, 100% paid by the grant. The department is asking approval of the following personnel actions effective 9/22/2020 to create slots 0023 and slots 0024 COVID-19 Public Health Specialist 2, grade 11. We recommend approval.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Judge Commissioners, item 10D for the purchasing department, approval of the following personnel action effective next full pay period. The purchasing department is asking to change the title of a vacant position. This position has been vacant approximately 3 months. We normally keep positions vacant a short period of time. The request is to change the title of a supervisor 2, grade 11, to a procurement specialist 2, also a grade 11. There's no change in salary. The position is needed quickly. We have roughly 300 purchase orders that are pending. We have 2 vacancies. There's only 2 people who are currently working, so we're asking approval to change the title so that we can post the job.
This is just a title change, correct, Mr. Silguero?
Yes, ma'am. It's a vacant position, and we have ample management, so we really need a procurement specialist. So this will be a lead procurement specialist. We'll have a procurement specialist 2 and 3 procurement specialist 1s, so that we can be a little more efficient in processing purchase orders.
Okay. Motion to approve?
Second.
Plus, we had a lot of retirements in that department. We have a motion as a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And item 2 on D is also related to that approval to add to the classification position list the new position procurement specialist 2.
And this is a reclassification?
We're just going to add the position to the classified list.
Oh, yes. Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item E for the tax office, and we do this every year. The tax office has created, we normally create 6 temporary positions for the period of October through about March. Usually we have a large volume of calls. This is a call center that they set up every year, and they're only on board for 6 months. So they're asking approval to create 6 full-time temporary positions effective 10/1/2020 through 12/31, the end of the year. We'll come back at the beginning of the year and create them for the other 3 months. So it's create slots temporary 234 through temporary 239. Those 6 positions plus 1s.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries.
That's all I have. Thank you, Commissioners, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. CEO. Next up, Urban County.
Good morning, Commissioners. P.R. Avila with the Urban County Program for 11A. Subject to compliance with House Bill 1295, the Urban County Program is requesting approval of a best and final negotiated contract for professional services, construction material testing services with Rabba Kistner Consultants, Inc., in the amount of $8,389.70, utilizing CDBG fiscal year 2018 City of La Villa water and sewer improvement fundings, and approval of work authorization number 1.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 11B, subject to compliance with House Bill 1295, the Urban County Program is requesting approval to purchase equipment from DEMCO for the City of Mercedes Library in the amount of $11,405.60 using Urban County Program fiscal years 2018 City of Mercedes funds will be utilized.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Item 11C, subject to compliance with House Bill 1295, the Urban County Program is requesting approval to purchase equipment from Southern Computer Warehouse for the City of Mercedes Library in the amount of $25,841.14 using the Orange County fiscal year 2018-2019 City of Mercedes utilities will be funds will be utilized.
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Item 11D, 1, requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under the Texas Local Government Code 262.024A4 for professional engineering services. And D2, presentation of the scoring grid for the purpose of ranking by Commissioner's Court of at least 3 engineering firms from the county's approved pool as granted and evaluated by the City of San Juan, the Urban County Program, and the Hidalgo County Purchasing Department in connection with and funded through the Hidalgo County Urban County Program year 2020 for the San Juan Street Improvement Project Funds. The professional services firms grade Sames Engineering with a 99.66, Consor Engineering LLC with a 95.33, and Javier Hinojosa Engineering with a 92.66.
Motion to approve as ranked.
Second.
And item D3, authority to negotiate professional engineering.
Aye.
Aye. Motion.
Aye.
Sorry, PR, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. For item D3, authority to negotiate a professional engineering service contract with the number 1 ranked firm of Sames Engineering for the provision of engineering services for an Urban County Program year 2020 San Juan Street Improvements Project.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item E1, requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under the Texas Local Government Code 262.024A4 for professional engineering services. Item E2, oh, sorry.
Oh. Motion to approve. E1.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
For item E2, presentation of scoring grid for the purposes of ranking by Commissioner's Court of at least 3 professional engineering firms from the county's approved pool as graded and evaluated by the City of Hidalgo, the Urban County Program, and Hidalgo County Hidalgo County Purchasing Department in connection with and funded through the Hidalgo County Urban County's program years 2018, 2019, and 2020 City of Hidalgo flood drainage improvements. Javier Hinojosa Engineering with a 94.33, Meldon and Hunt Inc. with an 88%, and Strata Engineering with 86%.
Motion to approve as ranked.
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And item 11E3, authority to negotiate a professional engineering service contract with the number 1 ranked firm of Javier Hinojosa Engineering for the provision of engineering services for an Urban County Program years 2018, 2019, 2020 City of Hidalgo Flood Drainage Improvements Project.
Motion to approve. Javier Hinojosa Engineering.
Second.
PR, do you know where this is going to be done? What part of Hidalgo?
Yes, sir. It's going to be it's flood and drainage improvements. It's on Ramon Ayala Street all the way to Flora Street. It's in three sections. It's in the older part, and 5th Street to 1st Street by the pump house, and also 1st Street, Esperanza Street, and 2nd Street, and also included on there is Dahlia Street.
Awesome.
They're going to be upgrading and expansion of the storm sewer system.
How big
and
is the project?
Reconditioning of the streets as well.
What's the cost of the project?
The cost of the project, I believe they have almost about $800,000 available for this project.
Awesome, thank you. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, PR.
Thank you.
Next item, Health and Human Services.
Good morning, Commissioners. Eddie Olivares, Hidalgo County Health and Human Services. Item 13A, requesting approval of certification of revenues by the county auditor in the amount of $191,832.55 from the Medicaid Administrative Claiming Program for the quarter of July to September of 2019 and appropriation of the same.
Motion to approve?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Eddie. Next up, Head Start program. Flores.
Ms. Flores, Ms. Teresa Flores.
Give her 1 second. There she is. Go ahead, Ms. Flores.
It says we cannot start the video, so I'm only unmuted, okay? We have 4 items. The first one is discussion and approval of the training and technical assistance plan, which is a requirement of the Office of Head Start when we submit our annual application. And that particular plan is attached for your review. It has all the trainings that we have offered and will be offering to our staff. Monies set aside for this are $322,588. That's earmarked from the Office of Head Start, and we must allocate that amount. Out of here, we're also paying like 50% of the salaries of the area directors that spend a lot of time in training and the coordinators. And then we have, of course, a person that is in charge of staff development. So that plan is there for your review and approval. Do you have any particular questions about the plan?
Anyone? We don't, Ms. Flores.
Okay, thank you. Then we do have to have your approval.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
The next item is discussion and approval of request to enter into a Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, between Hidalgo County Head Start Program and Mcallen Independent School District. We have a center that was at Roosevelt, has been relocated to Bonham. And that is the only change for that particular MOU. We're going to have to come back and review some of the agreement details, but at this point, we're submitting it as we have it from last year to this year. So we recommend your approval.
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The next item is the discussion approval to enter into an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding between the Hidalgo County Head Start Program and Edcouch Chelsea Independent School District for our center, JRJ, which is one of their facilities. There's no change in that agreement other than to have another year of agreement. And we recommend approval.
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The next item is our discussion and approval to submit the following 2021 budget application to the Department of Health and Human Services, DHHS, and number 2, the one to the Texas Department of Agriculture, TDA. And so when we look at the amounts of funding that we are getting, that amount of funding was received. The information was received regarding the application from the Office of Head Start. The total amount in the letter is $29,241,718. And in there you see in that letter it's provided for you, you see the amount earmarked for training and technical assistance, and we are serving 3,690 children. When we look at the budget application information, we are having to come up with 20% non-federal match. $4,161,405 are for free classroom space that we have in different areas of the county with partners and school districts. Then we have $3,149,025 from the teachers' salaries of teachers that are sent to us by the school districts that partner with our classroom teachers to provide instruction in our classrooms. And the total amount of the in-kind or matching funds is $7,310,430. Then throughout the budget, there's a summary there on the salaries. We have $18,786,281,000, and in that million, I'm sorry, 18 million is in salaries. In there's no changes from the last time we visited with you on the positions that we have allocated. We did reclassify one position in the warehouse so that we could have a health and safety coordinator based on the need that we are experiencing with having to deal with so many protocols for safety and security of children and staff. But it did not change the salary or it did change the job description, and the position is vacant. Under fringe benefits, initially we had submitted to the Policy Council with the fringe benefits concerned about having to come up with $234,765 for increases in insurance. I want to thank the commissioners for being able to not have us spend that money in that. So we have built it back into the budget so that we would be able to be allocated to the areas that, of course, that we have the need in. So we're going back to Policy Council for ratification of this budget now in the reverse, because at the time that the Policy Council approved it, the $234,765 were considered as a legitimate expenditure, and now it's no longer there. So again, thank you, commissioners, for allowing us to be able to put that money back in there where it's needed. Then we have equipment, zero. We have some out-of-town travel that's always indicated in there as such under the TNTA. And then we have supplies at $783,616. And we have other expenditures that fall in the category of phone services, utilities, and so on. The total, as I mentioned to you, was $29,241,718 plus the in-kind, for a total of $36,552,148. Then the TDU, the Texas Department of Agriculture, TDA, the budget remains with the same number of staff, and so at this point the budget is with a little increase on the reimbursements for $3,583,969,000. And you see both attachments of the regular our budget and then the TDA budget. And then you also see the salary scale, which remains the same. There are no increases in salaries to be addressed at this particular point at all. It's what we had the last time we submitted to you from COLA. And so that is the budget in summary. I'm not sure if you have any particular questions to any particular areas at this particular time.
Anybody?
No questions.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you very, very much. And as I said, we all appreciate what you do for us and the support that you give us. And we are planning to have in-person instruction next week with our children. We've been working very hard to prepare for it. Our website shows a video of how the classrooms will look and the kinds of precautions that we're taking. We do have plans and protocols for all the different departments in the different areas, the children in the classroom, the children in the playground, the children in the restrooms, the children in the buses, and all of those things have been worked on. And so we are moving on. The staff has been on board for about a month, and things are making progress for this preparation that we're making. We are going to allow children to continue virtual if that's what they'd like. We are going to have in classroom and parent choice, and then we're partial. If they want to do 2 days at home and 3 days with us, we're giving that flexibility to parents. And so we are doing that, and we're also adding one more feature. We have a lot of staff who has requested time to be with their children because they don't have babysitters because they're school-age children. We're opening several sites to do daycare for those children of our employees who have requested that time off and see if they're able to come back and work for us. We have large numbers of teachers and assistants who are wanting to stay home, and it's recognized why. So we are accommodating with COVID money. We are doing some centers where they can bring their children and we can have staff assigned to help those children with their classwork, ages 4 to 12. And so we're getting ready to publicize that. And so I also wanted to make you aware of it and that we're making those plans to move forward with it. Thank you.
That's great news, Ms. Flores. Thank you for doing that. And thank you for accommodating not only the employees, but the parents. And keep up the great work.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. You have a great day.
You too. Next up, we have WIC.
Commissioners, item 14A for Ms. Clarissa Ramirez. She could not be here this morning. So item 14A, and these are all going to be approval of certification of revenues by the for the WIC Administration Program 1 in the amount of $9,200,000 for fiscal year 21 WIC Administration appropriation of the same. For WIC Breastfeeding Peer Counselor Program 002 in the amount of $953,484. Again, certified by the County Auditor for the fiscal year 21 Breastfeeding Peer Counselor Program and appropriation of same. For the WIC Registration Dietitian Program 12, certification revenues in the amount of $60,000, certified by the auditor for fiscal year 21 registered dietitian program and appropriation of the same. The WIC Lactation Services Program 13 in the amount of $50,000, certification revenues by the county auditor and appropriation the same. WIC Lactation Services Program 17 in the amount of $289,000, certified by the county auditor for fiscal year 21 and appropriation the same. The WIC SNAP-Ed Breastfeeding Program, number 25, in the amount of $15,000, certified by the county auditor, and appropriation for same for fiscal year 21. The WIC Extra Funding Summer Program Food Program, Program 20, in the amount of $22,580, certified by the county auditor for fiscal year 21, and appropriation the same. And the WIC Extra Funding Text and Internet Program 22 in the amount of $72,990, certified by the county auditor for fiscal year 21, and appropriation the same.
Move to approve 14A 1 through 8.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you. Mr. Arredondo, TJ.
Good morning. George Garcia presenting for Planning Department.
Garcia.
Item 1A, preliminary approval with a variance request. Montiel Subdivision, Precinct 1. It's a 3 single-family lot subdivision. Drainage will be provided by natural percolation and surface runoff will drain into Minnesota roadside ditch. Subdivision lies in the city of Donna. ETJ has received approval from said city. Water will be provided by North Alamo Water Supply Corporation. Sewer will be provided by on-site sewage facilities. And the variance request is for reduction of the front width of lot 3 to reduce from 70 feet to 65 feet.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 1B, preliminary approval with a variance request. T and No Ranch Subdivision in Precinct 3. It's a 7 single-family lot subdivision. Drainage will be provided by natural percolation and surface runoff will drain into Mesquite Lane roadside ditch. Subdivision lies in the rural area of the county. Water will be provided by Agua Sud. Sewer will be provided by Agua Sud, and the variance is to request reduction of the front and rear setback from 25 feet to 20 feet and rear setback from 15 to 10 feet.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 1C, preliminary approval with a variance request. Miravista number 2 subdivision, lies in Precinct 1. It's a 35 multifamily lot subdivision. Drainage will be provided by storm sewer system and detention will be provided by widening of the existing drain ditch. Subdivision lies within the city of Westlaco ETJ and has received approval from said city. Water will be provided by the city of Westlaco. Sewer will be provided by city of Westlaco as well. And the variance is to reduce the front setback from 25 to 20 feet, the rear setback from 15 to 10 feet, and to reduce easements from 15 feet to 10 feet.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And I'm going to abstain on that. That's my dad's subdivision. Next item.
Okay, item 1D, preliminary approval with the variance request. Pueblo de Palmas Phase 26 lies in Precinct 4. It's a 106 single-family lot subdivision. Drainage will be provided by storm sewer system, and detention will be provided by an existing drain ditch. Sorry.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 For afterwards.
For item 2, if it's okay with the board, I would like to present the following 5 items collectively.
Yes, sir.
For preliminary approval, item 2A, El Crucero subdivision, Precinct 3, it's a 25 single-family lot subdivision. Item 2B, RBR subdivision number 2 in Precinct 4, is a 34 single-family lot subdivision. Item 2C, El Pinto Phase 1 subdivision lies in Precinct 3, it's a 38 single-family lot subdivision and 2 commercial lots. Item D, La Villita Estates number 2 subdivision in Precinct 4, it's a 41 single-family and 2 commercial lot subdivision. Item 2E, Era Monte subdivision lies in Precinct 3, it's a 131 single-family lot subdivision.
Motion to approve 2A, B, C, D, and E.
Second.
Yeah.
I like that name, Era Monte subdivision. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 3A, final approval of Yareli Estate subdivision in Precinct 3. It's a 6 single-family lot subdivision and 3 commercial lot subdivision. Drainage will be provided by natural percolation and surface runoff onto Mile 5 North Road in Dolphin Roadside Ditch. Subdivision lies in the City of Mission, ETJ, and has received approval from said city. Water will be provided by Agua Sud. Sewer will be provided by on-site sewage facilities.
Motion to approve 3A.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carries.
Item 3B, final approval for Caledonia Estates Phase 3 subdivision in Precinct 4. It's a 40 single-family lot subdivision. Drainage will be provided by storm sewer system, and detention will be provided by widening of the existing drain ditch. Subdivision lies in the City of Edinburgh, ETJ, and has received approval from said city. Water will be provided by North Alamo Water Supply Corporation, and sewer will be provided by City of Edinburgh.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you. You all have a good day.
You too.
Thank you, sir.
Precinct 1, Commish.
Judge, commissioners, for the record, item 16A, there is no action to be taken this morning.
Thank you. We're going to be postponing that. We had a little bit of a conflict with timing and such. And with respect to 16B, 1, 2, 3, and 4, if I may, I'll go ahead and read those. And all of these will be subject to legal review and auditor's approval. Item 1, requesting approval for the county judge to sign Federal Assistance Standard Form 424 SF 424 in preparation for submittal of applications to GLO CDBG mitigation competitions. Item 2, requesting approval for the county judge to sign Texas General Land Office Community Development and Revitalization Division mitigation local certifications in preparation for submittal of applications to GLO CDBG MIT competitions. Item 3, request to advertise notice for public comments in the Monitor on October 2nd, 2020 and October 11th, 2020 for submittal of applications to GLO CDBG MIT competitions and to pay related publication expenses. And item 4, request to schedule public meetings on October 6th, 2020 and October 13th, 2020 to receive public comments regarding Hidalgo County's applications to GLO CDBG MIT competitions. Again, I think what's important here is we absolutely need to advertise these because time is of the essence. But with respect to applications and such, that's I think where legal review and auditors approval is where necessary. But we definitely need to be able to publish the public hearings and hold these public hearings on the dates that are specified in the agenda item.
Approval on 16B, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Precinct 3, Commissioner Flores.
Good morning, Victor Gallardo for Precinct 3, 17A. Discussion and consideration to accept donation of 2 parcels of land via special warranty deed from the St. Marie Properties LTD for a 16,222 square foot tract of land and a 14,849 square foot of land situated in the Lázaro Flores survey, as more particularly described by meets and bounds in the attached survey for Liberty Road Project Phase 1.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 17B, requesting approval to accept counteroffer to purchase a tract of land known as Parcel 59 associated with the Veterans Boulevard Project with the authority for the county judge to sign the administrative evaluation and approval form.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. Budget and Management, Sergio.
Morning, Commissioners. Senator Cruz, Department of Budget Management. Item 18A, we have the presentation of the second quarter health insurance report by Gallagher Benefit Services. And I do have Mr. Lou Arias on the line for the presentation.
Thank you, Sergio. Good morning, Commissioners. Lou Arias with Gallagher Benefit Services to present on item 18A, the presentation of the second quarter for plan year 2020. I would like to share my screen so that I can present the PowerPoint that I put together that has this information. Are you all able to see my screen?
Yes.
There you go.
Okay, thank you. Let me launch this. Okay, so I'd like to go over those yes.
Lou, I'm sorry. I guess the gallery of pictures and stuff sometimes covers part of your presentation. Can you make it just a little smaller so it fits the screen? If that's possible. If not, we'll make it work.
Does that work for you? That work?
I didn't see anything change, but that's okay. Go ahead. If something comes up, I'll ask.
Okay, appreciate it. All right, so I'll go ahead and start. What I'm going to go over is your financial monitor report as of June 30th. So these are claims paid through June 30th of 2020. I'm also going to go over the Aetna mid-year summary. I did put a focus on RX because that is where we spent a lot of our time. And if you'll recall, the last, 2 weeks ago is when we talked about the program that focused on specialty drugs, but we just did a mid-year review with Aetna, so I'll be including some of their slides. And then I also want to provide you with some COVID-19 updates for that week in June. So to go ahead and get started, what you're looking at here, you've seen this before, Commissioners. This is a financial monitor report by month, starting with January, and it's populated through June 20th. If you look at the top, it has the number of subscribers and members. Those are your employees. And then I like to refer to members as the belly buttons that we're counting. And they do fluctuate from month to month. The next line there will show you the actual medical claims paid for each month with a total to the right, a year to date. It also includes the pharmacy claims. There are some stop loss reimbursements because you do have some folks that have hit, or at least one that have hit, that's ISL level. And then it comes up with the total net claims payments. The next lines below that here are all your fixed costs. These are your fees that Aetna charges you to administer your plan. It also includes your stop loss premium here. We break it down by month. And so then we come up with your total fixed costs. And then we convert that to a fixed cost PEPM. When we put all that together, we add up what the employer contributes. That's what the county contributes towards each plan or the plan. And then we add in all the employee contributions, those employees that add their dependents to the plan, and come up with that total contribution number. Here's where it really tells the story. And again, we're looking at the last quarter, so April, May, and June. So I'll start with April. Your budgeted costs, these are all your contributions with the employees' contributions added up. The next line is what your actual plan ran, the actual plan cost. And so for April, you did have a surplus of $100,000, just a little over 1,500 or 100,500. For May, 2.8 million versus the total plan cost of 2.3. So you had a surplus of 474,000 or an 80, and you're running at about 83.1% of what's budgeted for that month. And then for June, 2.8 for the budgeted cost, and the actual plan cost was 2.5. So you're running at a surplus of 270,000 for that month, running at about 90.3 of budget. What I would like to bring to your attention is up here on the right-hand corner. It does say combined. What that means is this is also including, which you'll see in another slide, your run-out claims for those claims that were paid in the previous plan year, but because due to the lag in getting those paid, they're included in these numbers, so they are combined. So I wanted to make sure I brought that to your attention. I will show you what it is just with claims being paid in this plan year. But so year to date, your budgeted cost was $16.7 million based on the contributions. Your total plan cost was $15 million. So you do have a surplus of $1.6 million, or you're running at 90% of the budgeted cost. And again, I want to just mention one more time that this includes your run out.
And that means that our true claims experience is probably less than that 90%. I'm not sure what the absorption is from prior years, but that certainly seems like it's better news for us.
Correct. So here is what your actual today without the run out. The other one was showing at 90%. You're actually running at 87.1%. And this is just with the claims that are being paid for this plan year. Again, we're looking at April, May, and June. I've already kind of explained all these numbers here. What I will do is go down to the budget comparisons. So for April, you were at 2.8. The plan cost 2.4. So you had a surplus of 354,000, or running at 87.4% of budget. For May, 2.8 million. Plan cost was 2.3 for a surplus of 478,000, or 82.9% of budget. And then for June, the budgeted cost was 2.8. You did have an uptick for your total plan cost of 2.5. You're still in a surplus of 284,000, or 89.8%. Again, this is just showing your basic plan. So this is just for claims for this plan year. You're running at 87.1 of budget. Budgeted to date is 16.7, and you're at 14.5 as far as a total plan cost. So you do have a surplus of $2.1 million. If I compare that to year to date last year, now keep in mind last year you did have two plans, but with this is both plans combined. You are running at you're running at $14.1 million. So even though you do have a surplus here, you are running a little bit higher than last year, but that is to be expected due to the COVID situation and just trend. Everything costs more this year. So there's a difference of about, you're running 452,000 more than you were around this time last year.
So,
I do want, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Lou, may I ask, and maybe you're going to get to it, but is that a result of number of claims? Is that a result of catastrophic claims? Do you have any idea of, what the difference is? Is it
to be exactly precise as to where it's coming from? I do not. I can tell you based on a few slides that we're going to look at here, where you see the increases, you'll be able to see. And we talked about the pharmacy side where there's an uptick on the specialty, and so I think that it's safe to say that it's coming from, there's an uptick on the number of office visits due to the COVID-19, but that's not a big driver. I think the bigger driver is the utilization of those specialty drugs. But the good thing is that we talked about that a couple of weeks ago when we're implementing that program to help improve that situation.
And at some point, will you be able to give us kind of like a premiums versus claims versus on a tier program with respect to, is that, employee only? Is it employee and family? Like, will we be able to isolate like where the true cost is coming from?
I can do that. I can break it down. I'll tell you what, for the next meeting, I'll break it down by tier. And you're saying to do it by premium versus the actual claims cost by tier.
Only because in prior years, part of what we were told was that it was not the employee portion, but it was the other tiers where the employee contribution was coming into play. And we weren't really charging enough for those tiers because the claims were a lot higher in those buckets as opposed to the employee only. So that tells me that we're funding correctly at our level, but maybe our participation isn't the right level, and that may be okay. I just want to make sure that we know where it's coming from.
We can do that. We can identify it and what you would be going towards when we do your cost projections, sir. We basically tell you what needs to be pumped into the plan to bring you, to bring you to the next one. I'm sorry?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay. But if we start running this type of report, then you can certainly identify which tier the county would be, the portion that the county's funding, and if that's appropriate. But then you start going down tier of dependents are not. The contributions may need to be adjusted. And I think that's what you're referring to. So we can start looking at that next report. I'll make sure that we have that broken down by tier.
And I think, again, we assume to keep premiums the same, and that's fine. I just want to, for our own personal knowledge, as far as where it's coming from. Because again, everything that we're doing is on behalf of the employee and their family, and we want to keep them safe. And I'm okay with that. I just want to be able to identify where it's coming from.
Understood.
Thank you.
So this slide here breaks out. If you recall, the one I just went over was just your claims for 2020. The first slide combined your run out. This is just your run out all by itself through June. If you'll notice up down here, there is no budgeted cost because it was from last plan year's budget. But here's where it's tracking on a monthly basis. And so year to date, you're at $485,000 on your run out. You should start to see that reduce. There's usually about a 120 day, 90 day to 120 day lag. So we're looking at claims that were maybe done in October, November, December, last quarter of last year. And you might have some claims that were maybe pending additional information. And a lot of those have to do with subrogation, where there might be some lawsuits involved and those claims are just kind of hanging out there. But I just wanted to give you a picture by separating the run out by itself.
April certainly looks like an outlier for sure.
Absolutely. If you look at April in comparison to the rest of the months, it was the highest. So if I go and kind of summarize this for you, your medical cost summary through June 2020, 63% of your total cost is for medical expenses. 27% of the cost is for pharmacy. 4% of that is your admin cost. Those are your fixed fees, which would be your fees from Aetna and your stop loss premiums. Or rather, 6% is your stop loss premiums. Your plan is running at a $2.1 million surplus, or 87.1% of your budget. I do want to make it clear, I think I brought this up the last time, the surplus does not include the office overhead, nor will it include the cost of the Vera Clinic, which we should be able to start incorporating some reporting. I've reached out to Chris Tellerico to find out when I can expect that feed to start coming our way so that we can start tracking that as well. Here are your large cost claimants. Your ISL, or your individual specific deductible, is at once they hit half of that at 150, you do that has gone over. Some that are very close to, I anticipate that this person here probably already has, since this was run through June. So here are your large cost claimants. And it does show what their diagnosis is. And it looks like that and this, in fact, to your point on tiers, these would be the subscribers. So these would be employees, not dependents. So let's go through quickly what Aetna reviewed with the staff there at the county as far as the 2020 year-to-year review. Some of these slides you've seen because I did use them in the last presentation when we started talking about specialty drugs. But here's your financial snapshot through June 30th. You will see some variance in these numbers in comparison to what I just showed you, and that's because Aetna pulls from a different system, and there's a 30-day lag. So my numbers are based on what's actually paid, and theirs is about a 30-day lag. So there's some slight variances. They're not huge, but you will notice some slight variances. So your total medical and pharmacy, your last year prior was 12.2 million. Currently, you're right, a little over 13 million, or a 5.9% change. I think you'll see a lot of this having to do with pharmacy. If we look at your pharmacy, last year you were at 3.4, almost 3.5 million, and you're right at about 4 million into June for a 15.3% increase. And again, a lot of this has to do, a great majority of this has to do with the specialty drugs that we think we've addressed with that new program. And we'll be real excited to see how that starts tracking going forward. The parts in green, your total medical paid amount to date with that 30-day lag is 8.7 million last year, and you're at 8.9, a 2.1% increase. And then here's just your medical paid amount per employee, and it's up by 1.2%. So a quick snapshot of where those numbers are based on pharmacy and medical. When we get into some more of the utilization, the actual use of the plan, if you look at last year, you had 23 members that per 1,000 to 22 as far as your total admissions or inpatient hospital stay. So that is down for minus 3.4%. So that's good news. The other highlighted areas here are total days of care. The ones that are admitted, how long are they been in the hospital per 1,000? You had 95 last year. This time it's 85. So that has also been reduced by almost 10%. If we look at the average length of stay, 4.1 days versus 3.8, so minus 6.8%. So that's also very good. And then your your total surgeries per 1,000 members. This is down 177 to 170, almost 4%. I will caution you, this could mean that some of these were those non-essential surgeries that got postponed or canceled. So you might start to see these come back maybe the last quarter or first quarter of next year. If you look at your office visits per 1,000, you had 1948. This time you had 21, almost 2,200. And again, I would anticipate that in guessing that this definitely has a lot to do with the COVID situation, because these are office visits and the use of telemedicine and just basically your primary care visits. If you look at your primary office care visits per 1,000, that's probably, I don't know why that's blank. I'll have to look into that. I can't recall, but I'll go with the office visits because this is breaking it out by specialty. But if you look at your specialty office visits, 708 versus 737. Look at your ER visits. Your ER visits per 1,000 are at 95 last year and 87. So that continues to go down. That is actually really good news. And that also could be accredited to the use of some of the virtual tools like Teladoc. Some of the key metrics that I'll highlight here on your for your plan. If you look at the average eligible members per month comparison to last year, you had 6,600. You're at 6,700, so that did go up. Your rebates, your net cost with rebates is at 80. Last year was 87.66. This time it's at 75.25. Don't get too hung up on what you get back for rebates, because rebates are actually, when you're looking for rebates, that means you actually had to pay the actual claim in the first place and then wait for your money to come back. I will tell you that your rebates are tracking at about, Aetna estimated about 1.9 million or just under $2 million, but based on your last quarter rebate check, which was for 238,840. If you continue down that trend, your rebates for this year will probably be upwards of $2.1 million. So on those specialty drugs, they do include rebates. So the bad news is that when you get more rebates, that means there's more utilization on those higher cost drugs. The good news is those rebates are available to help offset that cost. And that's notified here what it does to your trend when we include your rebates. Your generic dispensing rate is holding steady, so that's also very good. And your maintenance choice, people are utilizing the 90-day at retail program that was implemented. But if we start to look at your specialty net cost drug, you're looking at $29 versus $31.13. So your specialty trend is trending up. You did see this slide the last time I presented. I won't spend too much time on it, but I think this is what you can continue to look for until we start to see the full effect of that program when it starts on 1/1. But 31% of your drugs are specialty prescriptions.
I have a question. Question, sir, before you go on. Where does it indicate here the compound? Are there any compound prescriptions here?
The compound prescriptions
follow the specialty.
The compound prescriptions aren't noted on these reports. We do get additional reports. If that's something you do want me to track, I can start tracking that. I will tell you that compounds in the past have been an issue because that's where pharmacies start to get a little creative by combining different medicines all together, especially when we start talking about topical analgesics. When you break those down, when we start to see those spikes on something that comes up for $8,000 or $5,000 and it's a compound, I shouldn't say all of them because it's not all of them, but a good chunk of those are stuff when you break down that could be easily purchased over the counter. And so this is, unfortunately, one bad apple kind of spoils the whole bunch, but we have to look for those. But if you want me to start tracking those, I can. I typically will bring those up when I see those start to spike up.
Yes, and so we don't have anything in place for, before a compound drug gets issued, that there isn't something over the counter or something that's already pre-mixed without having the pharmacy having to place those two items together. Do we have anything in place for that, like a
we don't filter? We don't, because what happens is when they run that through the system, since it's a compound drug, they start using the base ingredient, if you will, as to when they run it through the system for it to get paid. And 9 times out of 10, that base ingredient for that compound is something that is allowed. It's the higher percentage of whatever's left that's in that compound that's over the counter. Because if they coded it as or submitted it as an over the counter, it would absolutely produce a red flag so that it would not go through the system because it is an over the counter. And so that's why I'm saying they do get creative and as to they use a base drug or substance that runs through the system. But we can start tracking those. It's real easy to see when those things start to spike up. They stick out like a sore thumb. Again, it's a lot of times it's pain management drugs and topical analgesics.
Right. I've seen in the prior board that I sat on that there was a runaway with compound drugs. So that's why I'm asking about that. And if you can just keep your eye on that and track that, that would be great.
Yes, ma'am. Again, 31% of your cost is coming from specialty, but specialty is less than 1% of all your prescriptions. So this is the driver here. It's those specialty drugs, which we talked about using that Prudent RX program. Just yesterday, I was watching Monday Night Football and I saw at least 2 commercials for Humira where it says, if you need assistance paying for your drug, please contact us. We may be able to help. That's what we're targeting with that program. And then, of course, your rebates are tracking higher, which is good. You're getting money back. But the bad thing is that means you're paying for the claim in the first place up front. And then you have to wait, basically 6 months, almost 9 months to get that money back based on the lag on getting those. So I think this is something that we're going to start looking at 1/1 and then that program that it does the trick and it brings this down, which will bring your numbers on the previous slides down as well. Here's your COVID-19 update. Again, these are COVID-19 claims through June 28th, since it is through the second quarter. So your COVID-19, what was paid was $42,162. That for that particular week in June, it was $13,165. You had a total of from March 1st through June 28th of 261 tests, but for that week in June, it was 54 tests. You had 28 unique claimants, excluding lab, where it was 100 in total through March. And then unique claimants, the actual lab tests, the tests were 53 and then 225 through from March. So if you compare how those weeks, and again, this compares weeks. If you look at starting at the end of May, if you look at June, start to look at June 14th, June 21st, and then June 28th, you do see that the test claims started to go up. And I was looking at a map that Aetna provided. It's kind of like a heat map where it shows different counties throughout the United States. And if you look at Texas, it does show, as well as other counties and areas in Texas. But as you are well aware, that there is a hot spot in the valley for COVID. And so it doesn't surprise me that this continues to go up. Now, keep in mind, this only captures claims or COVID testing that's done via the health plan. It does not include any testing that's done out in, with any of the county clinics or the drive-throughs that you see set up in parking lots in different locations. This is only COVID claims that have been run through the health plan. Here's the telemedicine activity. Again, we see an uptick on the telemedicine because it's a lot more convenient. Folks are using this so that they can be triaged over the phone. And so the COVID telemedicine paid out for that week was $412, $1,400 from March 1st through 6/28. The non-COVID telemedicine, this is for folks that called in for non-COVID, just your run-of-the-mill, which is actually very good too, because now that means they're getting used to calling this for anything else other than COVID, which will prevent them from going to some of these urgent care centers or some of these urgent care centers that are really standalone emergency rooms or even their emergency room. So even though this number does show $7,100, this is a lot better than seeing this go to an urgent care or one of those standalone emergency room. So you do see the non-COVID employees are starting to use that. For your actual COVID-19 telemedicine claims, you had 7 for that week. And then you add your non-COVID-19 telemedicine claims, 138 for that week. That will conclude my update. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
Lou. Really appreciate that information.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Y'all have a great day.
Next item, CEDIO CARES Act relief funds.
Commissioners, item 18A, discussion, consideration, and action to approve the ratification of necessary CARES Act relief fund expenditures as listed in Exhibit A to cover costs not accounted for in the current budget and cannot be lawfully funded by line item, allotment, or allocation in connection with the ongoing COVID-19 public health emergency. The court, having reviewed the agenda item briefing, herein finds that such expenditures are reasonable and necessary for the intended use. Would recommend approval.
So move.
Second.
And that's 18B. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 18C is requesting approval for payment of Hidalgo County's share of El Morillo draining expenses to the Rio Grande Regional Water Authority, totaling $86,351.44, with authority for the county treasurer to issue payment after review and auditing procedures are completed by the county auditor.
So move.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 18D is approval of the salary schedule change in accordance with the Hidalgo County Classification and Compensation Pay Plan. And this is for an employee benefits analyst going from a step 1 to a step 3 in accordance with the pay plan based on a lateral transfer. We did hire this employee internally from the county, so they already part of the pay plan. And basically it's a lateral transfer, so they would keep the same step where they were normally at.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And item 18E1, pursuant to Texas Local Government Code, section 111.070, is the approval of emergency appropriation from the general fund balance in the amount of $500,000 for emergency-related expenses related to Hurricane Hannah.
Motion to approve.
Sorry. Second, but I do have a discussion. So what exactly is this to pay for? Is it for incurred expenses already, or is this because we're anticipating certain response?
No, these are for incurred expenses already regarding the dewatering and the debris removal. We have roughly about $3.9 million of expenses related to Hurricane Hannah. We had already appropriated $3 million, and these are an additional $500,000 to be able to continue with those operations.
And do we anticipate that this is going to be at least somewhat reimbursable through FEMA?
We know that emergency protective measures, which is category B, are already allowable. We're still waiting for having category A, which is going to be the debris removal, to be approved. That has yet to be approved yet. I think they're waiting for all of the assessments.
And that's the issue that we have, is there's still a lot of debris out there. I mean, in my precinct, I drive around, there's still a tremendous amount of need for us to respond. And, you know, my understanding is that we're not allocating any future funds or any more funding for this. And that's why I'm asking, because there's still a lot of debris out there. And I don't know what our plan is for that, but we do need to come back to this and figure out how we're going to respond. White goods, brush, a lot of that stuff.
We'll definitely work with emergency management. I know Reza Assad is in constant contact with them, and then also visit back with each of the precincts to see what the continued need is regarding that.
Please, because we need to come up with a plan. I'm on top of my guys, like telling them that we have to go out and pick up this stuff. But if we don't put it in the disaster recovery and some sort of a reimbursement from FEMA, it's all going to come from local funds. It's either, it's one or the other, and I have to do this. We can't afford to keep leaving these branches in our right of way and in the culvert, in our bar ditching. We've got to get this stuff out. So anything you can do to help us to address it. But I know that we've got a motion in a second. Sorry.
Good point, Commissioner. I'm sure Sergio is duly noting all this. So we have a motion in a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioners.
19A, Martha Salazar, Purchasing Department. 19A1A, pursuant to legal notice 2, recommending waiver of the formality or technicality, non-submittal of USB based on company policy prohibiting downloading of information on bid submitted by SBA Tower 4, as it is in the best interest of Hidalgo County to do so. I recommend approval.
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item A1B, presentation of the sole responsible vendor, SBA Tower 4, meeting all specifications for the purpose of award and approval of contract for the RFB titled Hidalgo County Lease of Tower Space in La Jolla through project number 221. I recommend approval.
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Next one is item A2A, discussion, consideration, action, authorizing Valiant Energy.
On this one, on A2, with respect to the judge not being in this meeting, we're going to go ahead and hold off on this item till next agenda or next meeting.
Okay. All right. That'll take care of 2A and B.
Yes.
And item 19A3, acceptance and approval to execute Amendment 10 as drafted by the Honorable Hawkins Porter Hedges between Hidalgo County and Architect HDR to include the Court of Appeals entry elevation redesign and the lump sum of $19,000 for the construction of the Hidalgo County Courthouse.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Item 4, discussion, consideration, action to award bid and approve of the contract document to the responsible qualifying vendor, CTC Distributing, meeting all specifications and requirements as set forth by the approved packet by Commissioners Court, and that is for off-premises storage, records management, pickup, retrieval, and delivery services. I recommend approval.
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 19A5, approval to adopt an updated wage study provided to ISTC dated March the 1st, 2019, as set forth in the provisions of Section 3.2 of the agreement, number 218, which determines prevailing wage rates for all county public works projects in accordance with the interlocal cooperation agreement with South Texas College and pursuant to the authority granted under Texas Government Code 2258.022A1. I recommend approval.
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
On item 19A6, A and B, I'm requesting no action until next week. Item 19B, County Judge's Office for Emergency Management, discussion and applicable action on the renovation of two buildings located on the corner of Mall and 10th Street, also known as Hidalgo County Annex 4, for the housing of emergency operations management and call centers through the county's approved selected construction option of cooperative purchasing programs, JOC vendors. I believe the judge intended to discuss this related to the county perhaps setting a cap on what it's willing to spend per square foot, or generally on a lump sum amount for the renovation of those two buildings. I don't know if the court wishes to take action or wait until the judges.
Let's just wait.
I wasn't updated on that. I'm not sure.
Okay. Thank you. I'll skip that. Action then on B2, A, requesting approval of an exception to Hidalgo County's current approved revised purchasing policies and procedures due to the time constraints and urgency to publish census deadline reminders to the residents of the county. I recommend approval on 2A.
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
On B2B, ratification of purchase order 821202 issued to AIM Media Texas Operating LLC, DBA, the Monitor Business Office, for the publication on digital media notices and reminders to the residents of the impending deadlines to participate, complete, and submit the census, notifying the public of the importance and impact of a true population count and its impact to Hidalgo County. I recommend approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 19C1 for Precinct 1, A, requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements, Texas Local Government Code 262-024A4, a professional service.
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 19C 1B, presentation of the scoring grid for the purposes of ranking by Commissioners Court. The firms graded and evaluated to the county's approved pool of professional engineering services providers. Those were AEC Engineering with a score of 280, Armco 278, and Alpha Infrastructure 286. I've taken the liberty of putting them in the order of their scores if the court wishes to accept that and rank them in that order.
Motion to approve and rank and accept as presented.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item C is authority for purchasing department to negotiate a professional engineering services agreement commencing with the #1 ranked firm of Alpha Infrastructure.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 2A, requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code 262-024A4, a professional service.
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item B is presentation of scoring grid for the purposes of ranking by Commissioner Court, the firms that were graded and evaluated through the county's approved pool of professional engineering services providers. And this is for Precinct Project Mile 5.5, Mile 10 to Mile 11 Road Project. Those were Land Tech with a score of 282, Javier Hinojosa Engineering with a score of 288, and Ethos with a score of 281. I've taken the liberty of putting them in the order of their scores if the court wishes to accept and rank them in that order.
Motion to approve as ranked on chart.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item C is authority for purchasing department to negotiate a professional engineering services agreement commencing with the #1 ranked firm, Javier Hinojosa Engineering, for that project that was cited on item B.
Motion to approve. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carries.
Item 19, Precinct 4, 1, requesting approval and acceptance of the PS&E submitted by Project Architect ERO International for construction of a new mechanic shop in order to complete the procurement packet as legal notice and upfront documents previously approved by Commissioners Court for distribution to interested vendors for the first advertising project published on Saturday, and that's September 19th, not the 13th, that was my error. September 19th, 2020. I recommend approval.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item E for the District Attorney's Office, requesting approval to purchase 3 2021 Toyota Tacomas double cab SR5s 4x2 through awarded vendor Silsby Ford Goodbye Co-op Purchasing Program, contract number as stated in the amount of $100,305.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
That is all I have. Thank you very much.
Commissioners, if I may, item 20A, 1 and 2, there's no action for this week. Item 20B is approval to accept settlement check from Utica National Group in the amount of $3,157.97, and this will settle an auto accident claim with one of our county vehicles.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item C is discussion, consideration, and action on memorandum of understanding between County of Hidalgo and the Lower Rio Grande Valley Development Council by and through the Valley Metro for bus shuttle services. Commissioners, with that being said, the Accord insurance is being secured from them. So I'm asking if it's acceptable, the action be subject to the Accord insurance, and we will provide that to the auditor's office.
Motion to approve pending the court insurance.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Commissioners, item 21, I'm going to ask that we take after closed session, and we do have closed session.
Thank you, Valde. As per Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code, Sections 551071, 551072, 551074, and 551087. We're going to go into executive session at 11:41.
To go to executive.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We're back from executive session. It's 12:28. Valde.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioners, under open session, item 24A, real estate acquisition appropriation for same. We will proceed as directed. 24B, pending and or potential litigation. There is no action to be taken today. 24C, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding response to a public health emergency. Commissioners, I will refer to item 21 in a minute or so. Item 24D, CL 2017-20-G, Gilberto Espino et al. Versus City of Elsa and Hidalgo County. Judge Commissioners, I'd like to refer to item 23. 23A, requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code, Section 262.02484, professional service for the provision of legal services representation in connection with litigation. We have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And 23B, engagement with the firm of Jones, Galgan, Key, Lozano for the provision of legal services representation in connection with litigation and authority to submit letter of engagement subject to compliance with House Bill 1295. And this is specific to CL 2017-20G, Gilberto Espino et al. Versus City of Elsa and Hidalgo County.
Motion to second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And Judge Commissioners, Ms. Josephine Ramirez's office will continue to assist and update us on that case matter as well. Item 24E, cause number 720 CV034 USA versus 44.697 acres of land and Fortigo Properties LTD. Judge Commissioners, we will proceed as directed. And item 24F, claim of Maria Estela Villarreal. Judge Commissioners, I'd like Settlement Authority to make an offer in the amount of $2,194.24.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
If accepted, I will ask the auditor's office that the check be made payable to the Aguirre Law Group. Judge Commissioners, I'd like to refer back to item 21. Discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding a county response to disaster health emergency 1 CARES Act funds. Judge Commissioners, there is no action to be taken today. Item 21C, measures necessary to preserve public health and safety. There is no specific action to be taken today. And 21C, direction regarding county government operations, including but not limited to essential functions. Judge Commissioners, again, week in and week out, we are practicing CDC recommended guidelines, social distancing, facial covering, and everything that we are doing. It is in the best interest for the health and safety of our constituents doing business with the County of Hidalgo and all our facilities, as well as the health and safety of our staff for Hidalgo County. With that being said, Judge Commissioners, I believe we have covered all items. There is no need for item 25, no action. Item 26 as well would be a no action. And so we have adjournment, and we do have a quick budget workshop, Commissioners. After
Balde, we also need a quorum, super quorum, or special. I mean, I
yes,
know we got a budget
week,
next week, so
yes, for next week we need a minimum of four board members for the tax rate. I have Sergio there. Sergio, is that correct for next week?
That's correct.
Okay,
That's
four board members, governing board members for the tax rate action item, and then we need a quorum of the court for the adoption of the budget. But I do believe that, and next week will be an afternoon meeting.
Right. Okay, motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Balde.
Yes, sir.
Wasn't today supposed to be afternoon? Does it need to be afternoon next week?
No, next week is right. And so the court, when we set the time and date of the regular court session, it was the last Tuesday of the month. And there are 3 months, if I'm not mistaken, that have 5 Tuesdays. And so this is one of those months. And it also allowed the court as much possible time that they needed for the discussion and action, ultimate action to be taken for the adoption of the county budget, as well as setting up a tax rate.
I think we also published it for 2:00.
Yes, yes.
That's correct.
Balde, I thought it was on the fourth Tuesday of every month. If a commissioner's court was scheduled, it was supposed to be in the afternoon.
Right.
That was my understanding, but.
Okay, yeah, Commissioner, and I, again, that even I have had to look at it once or twice over. The action was the last Tuesday of the month, and for the sake of argument or the discussion, if I'm not mistaken, there's 9 months that only have 4 Tuesdays, and so that would be the afternoon. But there's 3 months that have 5 Tuesdays, and so that 5th Tuesday turns out to be the afternoon meeting because the action was the last Tuesday of the month.
Okay. For the sake of next year, just because we're already at the end of the year, for the sake of next year, let's clarify that with Judge, because I believe the reason for that was because he had a conflict on the 4th Tuesday of every month.
Right.
Right.
No,
and I think the way it was worded in the motion, we said the last, but really should have been if and when a 4th Tuesday is utilized for Commissioner's Court, that meeting will be at 1:45.
Okay. Will do, Commissioner. Yes, ma'am.
Well, and I also think that county judges, chief and staff should have brought this one to our attention early on. So a little miscommunication there in Mr. Guerra's defense.
Well, regardless, we've been meeting every Tuesday, so we're here.
Right. Yes, and that's correct. We went from every other Tuesday to every Tuesday. So, no, we'll get it all cleared up, Commissioner.
Okay. Just for next year.
Yes, ma'am.